What's happening, Go community? On this week's episode, we're discussing bizarre game concepts and just how weird is too weird. In news, we talk about PlayStation 5 sales numbers, the new Pinball FX engine, and Sony flipping its decision on the sale of digital PS3 and Vita games. The only new game we discussed this week is Super Meat Boy Forever, but there's lots more we've been catching up on, so let's get weird. This is The Gaming Outsider. Greetings, programs, and welcome to episode 341 of The Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community. It's Monday, April 19th. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and joining me are my friends, Zack Parkerson.
Well, how do you do, man?
I'm doing all right. And Chris Behrensmeyer.
It's an exciting week, everybody.
Word up.
Why is it an exciting week?
Because we're only a few days from Nier.
Oh my goodness. You are so excited about Nier.
Everyone will actually play it this time.
Well, I'm going to play it.
Yeah?
I am going to play it.
You bet your bottom dollar you will.
Bet your bottom dollar. Because you're going to review, you're going to review it for sure. It's automatically a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, that doesn't seem, it almost seems like maybe we should have you review it for that reason.
Oh, man. No, because when anything less than a 10 out of 10, and you're going to be pissed off. I'd be scared.
Like, okay, read this review. It's clearly biased.
Yeah, right? Yeah. No, I would do it, but I don't know. Anyway.
We'll talk. That's off-air conversation.
Yeah, totally. Before we move on, I want to give a shout-out. You guys, if you've been listening to the show for the past few weeks, we had Alyssa White on as a guest multiple times now. I think she's been on 2 or 3 times. She wrote a review for us recently for a Doctor Who game, and lo and behold, the developers of said game put out one of those marketing materials that has different quotes from different publications. And lo and behold, Alyssa's quote is on that poster or marketing material, which is really cool. Unfortunately, it says it's from The Gaming Outsider. They don't mention her by name, but it's kind of cool to see The Gaming Outsider's name on some marketing material for a pretty big property. I'd say Doctor Who's a pretty big property. Maybe not in the game world, but that was really cool to see. So congratulations, Alyssa. Thank you for the hard work you have been doing for us with the reviews, and congratulations. I know that she was actually the one that found it and sent it to me, and she was very, very, very excited. So kudos to her. But let's go ahead and jump into some of the games that we've been catching up on. CB, how about you, sir? Anything that you'd like to share?
Got a couple new games. First off, I played a game called I Saw Black Clouds.
All right.
Which is from the people at Wales Wales, like the city, Wales Interactive. They're the same people that did like the Complex and the other live action games.
Okay.
Interesting game. Touches on some pretty heavy subject matter.
No, live action. You're talking about like video, like
yeah. FMV.
FMV. Yeah, that's a terminology I was looking for.
Yeah.
How heavy are we talking? Because the idea of FMV and,
heavy topics,
sexual violence,
yeah,
does not seem like a fun combination.
There's suicide and date rape and
all the good stuff.
It's some pretty heavy material. Like, it's probably one of the first times I've played one of these games that came with like a disclaimer at the beginning that was like, if you're prone to like traumatic situations, we probably wouldn't recommend playing this.
Interesting.
Wow.
It's fairly dark.
Is it short, like most FMV games?
3 to 4 hours, but it's got different endings.
Okay.
I found one of the endings so far. That's always the problem I have with some of these brand new games is like, it's got 4 endings. And I'm like, do I really want to play through this 4 times?
I'll just play through it once and then watch the other endings on YouTube.
Yeah, but achievements, man.
I
Each ending is 100 achievement points. So,
oh, look at you. Is that worth 4 hours of your time for 100 achievement points?
Not with that dark subject matter.
Oh yeah, I mean, that rough, huh?
It's rough.
You got a pretty ironclad stomach, and there's not a lot that makes you shy away from art.
Yeah, it's true. I do, but at the same time, it gets to the point that it's like this is. I don't really want to sit through some of these conversations again.
Gotcha.
So
do you recommend to play it then, or?
Maybe. I'm not sure if you like FMV games, it's interesting. I'm willing to bet the other endings aren't as dark. So,
because you
but-
chose the dark path. That sounds about right.
That's the problem is you don't know which way it's going until you get there.
Well, right, but you just go with your gut, and it turns into a dark ending of story. That just sounds like Chris Behrensmeyer.
Well, sometimes. I also played another game called Rain on My Parade.
All right, so you got storm clouds, you got parades with rain. I'm sensing a theme.
He's experiencing. He's got a real Panic at the Disco going on over there.
That I do. Free on Game Pass. It was a brand new game. Felt like checking it out. This game's actually pretty freaking adorable, man. You play as a rain cloud, and you literally rain on people's parade.
That's not where I expected that to go.
Me either.
Yeah. It's an interesting little game. It's like a little arena area, and you have to meet certain qualifications.
Like 3D?
Isometric.
Okay.
It's a little isometric, and everything is like a little cardboard cutout, so it almost feels like Paper Mario-ish.
All right.
But you're a rain cloud, and you get different abilities. In the beginning, all you can do is rain.
Right.
And so you gotta, like, one of them is like you break up a wedding, and so you like rain on this wedding.
So why is this adorable? This sounds like you're just doing terrible things to people.
It's adorable because it looks cute.
It sounds like a Katamari Damacy where like what you're actually doing is horrific, but they dress it up so cute that you don't care.
Yeah, pretty much. And then later on, like you get the ability to use thunder and lightning. So you can electrocute people and
you
start fires.
You level up your storm clouds.
Yes, you do. It's an interesting game. This one, again, if you have Game Pass, I would recommend. It's pretty fun to play.
Okay.
It's just mindless, dumb fun, which is kind
I like
of
that every once
my
in a while.
favorite kind of games.
Donut County was. I wish Donut County was longer. Honestly.
If you like Donut County, honestly, I think you would love this game.
All right, you might have sold me there because I love me some Donut County.
So just instead of putting things into holes, you're raining on things.
All right. Zach, what about you? Catching up on anything this week?
Yeah, sure. Star Wars Republic Commando. I beat. Review is on the site. I mostly just wanted to brag that I got the platinum trophy.
How hard was that?
It was fair. I had beat the whole game on hard. But as I mentioned in my review, I was kind of happy I played on hard because it really made you basically be Rainbow Six in space, and that was pretty awesome.
All right.
So it felt pretty cool. So I finished that. Great game. You should. It's only $15 just re-release. Like, pick it up.
I would like to go check it out because I didn't play it much originally, and especially after reading your review, you really sold that on just it being Star Wars without a lightsaber being there is cool.
Right. Yeah. Who knew that it would be too rare?
Right. And I don't know, making you care about a group of clones because in the movie, a couple of them are named. Like Cody is one, I think.
Cody, but yeah,
it's Cody.
Commander Cody.
I could have swore he said maybe it was the accent. It sounded like he said Cody.
What? I assume. Well, did he say Tamura Morrison say it?
No. Ewan McGregor.
Oh, well, he's got an accent too.
That's what I'm saying.
But everything just sounds so cool in Republic Commando because Tamura Morrison voices so much of it.
Yeah, he does have a cool voice.
Like take you up, get some back to soldier should not sound cool, but it does.
Right.
Because he says it. It's pretty good stuff.
How long is that game?
Like 8 hours, maybe.
8 hours.
Yeah.
I like it. Remember when it was when it was an obscure fact that Chewbacca was from Kashyyyk, and now it's like
right,
in every game.
It was a way to display your nerd cred.
Yeah,
but it really is like it's in Fallen Order as well. You can't have a Star Wars game unless you go to Kashyyyk.
Right, 3 Ys in it.
Yes. Well, it's all those Warsher trees. 3 Ys.
Is that what it is?
Well, it's just everything on that planet has unnecessary amounts of Ys.
Oh, gotcha.
Why is it
anyway,
here?
I met Joe Lee Bindo, who as a kid I thought was annoying because he's like this grumpy old man who doesn't like the Jedi, but he was a Jedi. But now that I'm older, I'm like, you know what, man? You really got some good ideas. Screw the Jedi Council. He and Qui-Gon are, the birth of the Gray Jedi in the fan community. Those were really the first two.
Interesting. Another game. I'll get to someday.
Have you never? You never beat it, right?
I never got off the main planet, the first planet.
That's absurd.
I didn't understand the combat at that point. I would need to give it another shot. It's on
Anyway.
It's on an iPhone. I don't really have an excuse, do I?
No, you don't.
No. Yeah, not at all.
I need to look it up and see how much it is. It plays on an iPhone, right?
Yeah, it's $10 on iPhone, which I know is a lot for an iPhone game, but it's also 40 hours.
Right. And I
you're
also
also
paid
gonna love
$10 for Mario Run, so
You're gonna love it. Anyway, I also did the Prince of Persia: The Dagger of Time VR escape room.
Ooh.
Went to a place, paid a fee, did the whole shebang, and it was awesome. It made me both happy and mad because it was Prince of Persia. Because I wouldn't have gone to it if it wasn't Prince of Persia.
right.
And then I was happy to see like Kylena, the Empress of Time's in there. They use a lot of the Sands of Time lore. But then I'm mad because I'm like, well, clearly you think this property means something because you made an escape room to it. Make an actual Prince of Persia game.
And a Splinter Cell game while you're at it, right?
Well, okay, keep dreaming.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
I know-
Man. How
I
long
know you
did?
guys-
So were you successful?
I did succeed. Yes, absolutely. In 45 minutes.
Also,
Which
are
is
you
pretty good.
okay wherever you are?
I don't know. Well, yeah, here in Kansas City, there was several blocks of downtown they completely cordoned off and wouldn't let people walk through for the whole of last weekend. So something's going on around here. So yeah, if you're hearing sirens, I apologize.
Yeah.
They have not died down in several minutes, so that is a little bit concerning.
Yeah, because we hear them on occasion when we're doing recordings, but it hasn't stopped for a while. So I was wondering if I should be concerned.
Think I'm alive. Anyway,
you'll be happy, Zach. I just bought KOTOR.
there you go. Impulse purchase. That's what's up.
Yeah. $10.
I wonder how many copies I've sold by talking about it every week.
I don't know. I guess I have to
Anyway, the
report
Dagger
back.
Time was fun. I beat it. They gave me the spiel that it was only the second person or whatever. Blah blah blah. I don't know if I believe you. Anyway, it was awesome.
That's cool, man.
Big fan.
Was it just
Yeah.
by yourself, or did you go with some people?
No, I went with a person.
Uh-huh.
Though she was too short to properly lift the gate all the way.
Oh,
That we had
no.
to get through. So that was kind of funny
That's really funny.
because you had to like lock the gate in place a certain way, right? And it just so we were stuck there for a few minutes. So it would have done it even faster. But I feel pretty good. I think it helped that you probably like a random person going into the VR escape room probably doesn't really understand the concepts of the Dagger of Time, but like I immediately knew what to do and I immediately knew how to disarm traps because I had played the games and I knew what rewinding time could mean and I knew to look for things to climb on, which I'm also not confident you would totally expect right out of the gate. So I definitely think I got a leg up by knowing the property.
That's good. I gotta see if there's any of those near us, CB. I would love to go do that.
Yeah, well, I'll look into it. I'll get back to you on that one.
Yeah.
I know there's an Assassin's Creed one.
Ooh.
I'm even more intrigued to do the Assassin's Creed one.
I would think that you would be, yes.
If I could do the Leap of Faith in VR.
With the eagle
Watch you
cawing behind you.
Yeah.
Watch you vomit all over the place.
It was
Probably.
pretty a little disorienting a few times when I'm doing the climbing or whatever, and I look down and there's nothing there.
Uh-huh.
And then like I'm trying to like look over to a platform. It was kind of crazy. I got dizzy once, which is kind of fun. Like almost stumbled. I
Yeah.
thought that was pretty good selling point of VR. That if it's making me dizzy in real life, it must do a pretty good simulation job.
Right.
I had also never, because I didn't get to use the CB's Quest at R2V2 because it was so popular. This was my first real experience with like those kind of controllers, and those things are awesome.
Aren't they cool?
Way cooler than a DualShock 4, let me tell you.
Yeah. Well, the PSVR 2 is supposed to have similar controls to the Quest.
Yeah, I just don't think VR works as well without. Like I know the Move controller, but it's just not. It doesn't feel the same. You're not as tricked into thinking you're really grabbing stuff.
Right. Like when you grab something and you actually see the fingers on your hand inside the VR, like grasp something, that's just kind of a cool. Or like you just do the trigger and just the first two fingers go. There's something about that just feels really cool.
It helps tell you that you're doing it.
Right.
just wait till you guys play on a Quest 2 without controllers and only hand. Because that's how I've been playing it lately.
And it works pretty well?
This guy.
the hands only controls are actually really responsive.
Interesting. I'm going to have to try that. As for me, it's interesting that you brought up Katamari Damacy earlier, Zach, because my wife bought me a new phone for my birthday last year at Best Buy, and she had like a $20 gift certificate that needed to be used, like a reward points or whatever. That had to be used by this past weekend.
And her nerd husband found a way to spend $20 at Best Buy?
Well, she told me to. She's like, "There's 20."
No, I just
She's like, "Here's $20 at Best Buy. Go find something." So I had been wanting to check out. I love Katamari Damacy back in the PS2 days, and it was on sale for $20 at Best Buy, and I'm like, "Hey, this is perfect. I can just get to pick up this game." Here's the thing: the $20 gift card, you can't use part of a $20 gift card, a reward gift card at Best Buy, and the game was $19.99. So even with the tax, I had to find something else to tack on there. So I have a little Matchbox car sitting at
But you
Best
collect
Buy.
them, I hear.
I used to, and it was like a random one. I have no idea what I got, but it's sitting there waiting for me at Best Buy. But anyway, point of the story, I picked up Katamari Damacy Reroll, which is a remake of the original game that I played on PS2. And man, that was just fun going back to that game. It's such a stupid, silly idea that works for me for some reason. You have not played it yet, right, Zach?
Katamari Damacy?
Yeah.
I played a little bit of the PS2 one back in the day, but I wasn't a big fan of the controls.
Yeah, the controls are a little wonky. I feel like I can't get the camera angle to go where I want it to. It was always a frustration. That's still present. Remember when camera angles were so egregious back in the PS2 era? I remember them talking about it on XPlay a lot.
Every review mentioned the camera control or how the camera angled, but now we don't even think about it.
Because it's all well and good now. Anyway, easy achievement points, by the way. CB, I'll loan you the copy if you want to. It's just more or less beat the level, and that's it. I did not remember that it was that you have a clock. I did not remember that.
Yeah.
And I've, since the PS2 era, just like really grown my disdain for clocks. But it's not terrible. If you know what you're doing, you just find small objects and then a little bit bigger objects and keep rolling. But there's something so cool when you get to the later levels where like you're starting by picking up like thumbtacks and checkers and things like that. And the ball rolls up. If you're not familiar with the game, that's all you do is you have a little ball that you roll around and things stick to it. As long as they are smaller than you or than the ball is. And as you gain enough objects, the ball gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you can pick up larger objects as you go. So by the end of some of these stages, I'm picking up massive ships, like shipping container ships, skyscrapers, baseball stadiums are just getting rolled up in this. It's just the sense of scale is very cool in this game, and I'm having fun with it. It is a weird ass game. Everything that happens in between doesn't make any sense whatsoever, and actually was the inspiration for our topic this week, which we'll get to later. But I'm having a lot of fun with it. It makes me smile. I've only got a couple more levels left. So there's one achievement, because I was looking at the achievement list. There's one achievement that says to pick up every item in the game. Not every single one, just one of each. So
Right.
If you've ever been in there's crap everywhere. And I can't even find like the special little birthday presents or whatever that you have to get for bonus achievements. And I don't know how you would ever get how do you even make a list? Oh yeah, I remember picking up that fish. I don't know. Anyway, so Katamari Damacy Reroll, and I also, a friend of mine was getting rid of his Guitar Hero stuff. And he still had Guitar Hero Live on Xbox One. And I was like, I will take that. So I fired up Guitar Hero Live a little bit, which is a little frustrating because the live service is actually done. You can't even play that anymore. The servers are gone for that. So that's a bummer. But if you just treat it like it's a Guitar Hero game, it still works. But it's like starting to learn Guitar Hero all over again. Did either of you get into the plastic guitar craze back in the day?
I've played every version.
Yeah, so have I.
Yeah, it's pretty unavoidable. I also played Guitar Hero Live right around launch as well.
I did a little bit
That's pretty good
as well, but again, it's like relearning because it's 2 rows of 3 instead of just 1 row of 5.
Yeah, actually, I think I prefer that.
You prefer it with 2 rows of 3?
Yeah, well, it tricks you into thinking you're playing guitar a little bit more.
Yeah, it makes you feel like you're doing power chords and stuff like that.
Right, correct. And Scott, if you wanted the live service to continue working, you should have supported the game at launch.
Yeah, you're right.
No, I'm not.
Anyway, I feel like
listen to our Patreon episode for more of that kind of banter.
Oh man, well, we'll get to that. I feel like the jump in difficulty from casual to medium is too big, because the thing that I struggle with is going from the bottom notes to the top notes, and I want them to give me a mode somewhere in between casual and medium, where I'm playing mostly on here, but every once in a while it jumps me up to the top. And maybe I just need to go through the career more to be able to see that, but I can't, I used to be really good at Guitar Hero. Ask CB or ask Chris Owens. I used to enter competitions and stuff back in the day. I could play on expert pretty well. And I feel dumb, but that's also kind of fun. It makes me re-experience Guitar Hero again. So I'm having fun going through that. So
with the live service being down, I haven't touched it since they took the live service off. So does the actual game still have the reaction from like the band?
That's still there, but that's not the live service. The stuff from the like if you play poorly, the band gets mad at you or the audience gets mad at you and throws stuff at you. That's just the regular campaign. The live stuff is like where it's almost like a TV station of Guitar Hero music that you
right,
play.
And you only had a certain plays every day or whatever, but you could certainly pay for more if you wanted.
Right. So that is gone, which I'm not too upset about. I didn't even play it at launch. I just played the regular campaign stuff, which is why I played Guitar Hero. So anyway, it was kind of fun to hop back into that, and I'm going to play some more because it's fun sitting down and just I miss playing a plastic guitar, not going to lie. So
right, but then they would bring it back and you wouldn't get into it, and then they would be like, oh, we wasted our time. I will say they waited too short a time to bring it back, right? If you waited like a full decade since the last Guitar Hero and Rock Band had brought it back, I think people would have been a lot more excited about it.
I think so. Although you wouldn't get the younger generation. Like the kids don't give a crap about Guitar Hero.
Well, you just play it on their iPad.
No, and it's not even that. It's just the music that fits that genre, they're not into. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of guitar in pop music anymore.
Is pop music still what's popular?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's why it's called pop music.
I don't hang out with kids.
I do.
Well, let's just leave that sentence there out of context.
It's my job. I'm a teacher for those that are listening for the first time. Yeah. I don't know, I guess there's some guitar, but it's just not like nobody wants to be a rock star. Nobody wants to be a guitar rock star anymore. It's all about...
Right. I don't think that's been the case for 20 years, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. Guitar Hero was for our generation.
Definitely. For us old-timers.
Yeah, you're now in that club, man. How's it feel?
I'm not liking it. I don't like that the world reminds you of anniversaries of things.
Oh, man. What was the one we were talking about earlier before we started recording? Portal 2.
10 years since
10 years.
10 years since Portal 2.
And you know what? It's about time for me to replay that game. I haven't played it in a couple years.
Every decade.
Every decade?
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and jump into the week's news. Got a couple new trailers. The new Pinball FX is coming to PS5 later this year, as well as a game called Gourd, which is, I don't know, it's got some action stuff, but it's also got some strategic stuff. Interesting there. But as far as the news goes, the PlayStation 5 is officially the fastest-selling console in U.S. history as of this week. We had a new Resident Evil showcase with showing off a little bit more of Resident Evil Village. Then we had Nintendo's Indie World Showcase, lots of new games shown there. And apparently Sony changed their mind about stopping online purchases of PS3 and Vita games. So some juicy things to discuss. CB, what would you like to start talking about?
Well, I'd like to talk about the PlayStation 5.
Oh, okay.
Really? I am surprised that's where you wanted to start. He says with a smug grin on his face. Yeah.
You have a tone in your voice that leads me to believe that you're not going to be happy for them.
No, I am actually happy. However, I feel that they are skewed numbers.
I concur, actually. That's unusual.
I mean, how many of these consoles are actually in people's hands and not in resellers?
I think that's part of it. I also think it was really annoying me, a lot of analysts and stuff saying like, yeah, they did this in spite of the pandemic. No, they did this because of the pandemic.
Yes.
Home hobbies have skyrocketed. The market for any kind of collecting habit is out of whack completely. Baseball cards, comic books, old video games, like this, they are lucky that the pandemic happened for these kind of sales numbers, honestly. And I'll say everyone's also ignoring the Xbox Series X, which is also sold out everywhere, and no one talks about it.
Yeah. When I first read the article, it didn't have the numbers for either system. So I went and looked them up.
Oh, okay.
And it says the PlayStation 5 has sold around 6 million units. These are worldwide. Yeah, these are worldwide numbers because there is, everywhere I looked, didn't have actual US based numbers. The Xbox Series X has sold 4 million units. So, I mean, both have sold very, very well. It's not a number to scoff at. I just know that when I pull up certain reselling sites, I see more of one than the other, and one that is much higher than the other.
Which is
the PlayStation.
Well, yeah, it's the hotter item. It's the one that more people want.
Isn't it based on those sales numbers? Isn't either console the fastest selling of its respective brand, though?
Yeah, like so they both did gangbusters.
Like I don't want to start sounding like an anti-PlayStation bias. It's just it's weird that the way the news doesn't care about Xbox's also incredible sales numbers.
Right.
Yeah,
because it's second. That's if you're not first, you're last, right?
You
got it, Ricky.
Horrible way to look at it. Talk about the Switch has been sold out for like a year and a half. No one's talking about that.
Right.
Well, and it's funny because I read later in the article that the number one selling console of the entire pandemic is still the Switch.
Yeah, dude, everybody wants a Switch.
So they're like, oh yeah, it's the fastest selling console in US history, but the Switch's numbers are still crushing the hell out of it.
Wait,
fastest selling has always been a marketing term that I've never trusted. They do it for games all the time too, where it's like it's the fastest selling Call of Duty. I'm like, well, that doesn't really, I don't know, that excites me because
that says nothing about the quality of the game.
And it doesn't paint a picture for me what that actually means in terms of overall sales numbers.
Right.
Because you can order heavy on Cyberpunk and make it the fastest selling RPG of all time, but if those copies don't sell through to the consumer, then it's not going to be the best selling game ever.
Wait, so you're saying that they say fastest selling game is not necessarily what a consumer bought, but what's in stores?
No. Yes, that is correct.
That is how many have been sold to stores, because the store has to buy the unit and then sell it.
Yes. Okay, well that's totally skewed. However,
that is
both.
No,
so basically, PlayStation wins because they've made more units.
Yeah.
Yes, that is. I think that's true because everybody's so hungry for either next gen console that it just. I mean, good on Sony. They manufactured more, right? Like, good for them. But it is. Yeah, I'm just very curious what happens when the pandemic slows down, because you're also. I know everyone constantly complained about not getting stimulus money because they had rent to make or whatever, but then all those same people were talking about all their PlayStations they were buying. So I mean, you have this huge influx of money that people were just burned immediately on consoles, so that also helps your sales numbers. And like CB was saying, because scalpers know that people have this $1,400 and those $600 checks that were just burning holes in their pockets they had to spend right away, you could buy 12 PS5s because you know you're going to sell them all for $800.
Right.
Well, I just remember there was a subreddit that I was reading that like showed all these scalpers, and you'd see all these people like laying on piles of PS5s.
Mm-hmm.
But
Or you just go to eBay and you look for some of them, and sometimes like their listing will be like more than 25 available. You're like, what?
Yeah. But then you go to like the Xbox ones and it's like, oh yeah, I have 2.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sitting here, I'm like, these numbers are so skewed because granted, they're sold out in stores, but how many of them are actually in the consumer's hands? I'm willing to bet that number is like way different.
Scalpers went hungry on this one. I'm curious how it all plays out in the end,
Yeah,
for both the consoles.
I just want to see hard numbers.
Well, Microsoft doesn't report theirs, so we'll never know.
Right.
Yeah, so, but again, bravo to both consoles. You sold like gangbusters when nobody had money. Awesome.
Well,
nobody had money.
Here we got free money.
Yeah. I legitimately think that these numbers wouldn't have been as high as if the stimulus money wasn't there.
Yes.
I
agree.
It's such a weird article to be reading at this point in time.
Yeah.
Especially
I can't talk. I have one of each too, so
Well, as I say, the weirdest part about all of it is everyone seems to acknowledge, especially those who have purchased it, that like, wow, we really didn't need these consoles at all, and yet people keep buying them.
Yeah,
that's the strangest part to me. I mean, Scott hasn't even opened his.
Still.
Yep. Still sitting there empty, and I still have not turned on my PS5 in over a month.
By the way, I need my charging station back, by the way.
Returnal is not enough of it's not enough of a reason to buy a PlayStation 5.
By the way, I hadn't seen that trailer until you mentioned it this week. I watched that trailer for the first time this week, and I was like, wow, that looks cool.
It does.
Yeah.
Does it look a whole console and $70 cool, though?
No,
I don't think so.
No, but I'll still play it.
Well, yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you?
Because I have nothing else to play my PS5 except for Days Gone and Republic Commando.
Yeah, you can buy your PS5 so you can play a game from 2005.
Right.
I'm the only other number that like I absolutely want to see though is I want to see the Oculus Quest 2's number.
Yeah, those were hard to come by at Christmas as well.
They're still hard to come by.
Yeah, I posted they were available on Amazon last week.
Yeah, they go up and they go right back down.
The attach rate for games to consoles on both of them, because I bet it's not that high.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about like a physical game or a digital game. Does that count too?
I'm just talking about like, the average consumer buys 2 games a year for their console or whatever. So the average attach rate for a game or for a console's life cycle is like 12.
So,
which is
wait
not
a minute. Is that an actual number? The average is 2 per year?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. It's somewhere between like 2 and 4.
The majority of console purchasers buy it and then buy their one annual franchise like Madden or Call of Duty.
That blows my mind. I can't imagine even paying at retail, paying $500 for a console.
Right. I'm not off the mark here. This has been.
I'm not saying you are. I just.
This is going back to the PS3 days. That's why, because it was a small miracle that the Vita attach rate had already gotten to like the average person who owned a Vita had like 14 games,
right? Like
3 years into the console, which was unheard of because people who bought Vita liked Vita.
Well, I mean, look at the games that people are playing. Fortnite, free.
That's true. Yeah,
that's true. Call of Duty Warzone, free.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of these games that people are playing now are free, or they play one like their one tentpole and that's all they play, like Call of Duty, or Battlefield, or Madden, or NHL.
But here's the thing: if you're playing Fortnite on Xbox One or PlayStation 4, you don't need a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X to play Fortnite.
Well, no.
I will disagree with you on that.
Okay.
Because if you are competitive gaming, you want the absolute top tier you can play on.
Well, then you're probably on PC though, right?
True. But if you're playing in console leagues, like you want to have the fastest console.
Well, we're also just a culture obsessed with the new, so that helps push consoles as well.
Newest, latest, best.
And then you buy it and you realize you don't need it. You're like, well, that sucks. Like a new iPhone.
Yep. Oh, hey, this is exactly the same thing my last one did. Just has a little bit better camera.
And now I can't use my headphones.
Yeah. Oh, I got to buy these $150. That's low. AirPods.
That'd be a deal on some AirPods right there.
Right. Those are nice though, by the way. I will tell you. They're not
I'm sure
$250 nice, but they're nice.
That's an immediate classism mark, though. I immediately know that person has more money than me.
Zach, what about you? Any of these stories intrigue you?
Some of them do, but I really wanted to talk about... I wanted to hear your thoughts on Pinball FX2, which just got announced for PS5 on a new engine, looking pretty, and none of your tables come with you.
Yeah, I was really stoked. They actually announced the new Pinball FX a couple months ago. There was a whole showcase they did, and as you know, I am a big pinball fan, and I am really bummed. You guys know how much I love pinball, and I've been talking about it for forever, and I actually did some math to figure out like a ballpark number of how much I've spent on pinball tables over the years. Now, granted, I've been buying these tables since Xbox 360, so 2 generations. Now I'm my 3rd generation of Pinball FX.
They came with you, though, to Xbox One, huh?
It did come with me to Xbox One. From Xbox 360 to Xbox One, I was able to transfer my purchases over to Pinball FX3 from Pinball FX2. But I did the math, and I've spent somewhere between $400 and $500 on pinball tables over the years, which I know sounds insane, but when you're buying them, $10 at a time, it just happens. Oh, new tables are out. I'm just gonna snag those really quick. But yes, the new Pinball FX will not allow you to transfer your tables over to the new one, and what they're saying is that it's being built on a completely new engine, so it's not just copy and paste or whatever. Not that that's what it was from Xbox 360 to Xbox One. I understand it's a lot more to it than that, but it's a lot more involved. I don't really understand what that means. But I feel like you're on my side a little bit, Zach, even though you're not a pinball guy. As a consumer that's bought almost every single table on this platform since day one, since I started this, it feels like a slap in the face to expect me to pay that money again.
You are slapping your biggest consumers in the face. Your biggest fans are getting a sack tap on this.
Right. Granted, I can still play all those tables on Pinball FX3 on the same console. I just won't be able to play the superior versions. It's basically a new client, right?
Yes. And I understand they probably had to renegotiate the licenses to get the tables over and all of that.
Yep.
But to not even offer a discount is inexcusable.
Or classic mode.
Classic mode.
Just port all your tables over and just be like, oh yeah, we added classic mode into the game.
There you go.
Where it doesn't have the new physics or something. Yeah, I mean, because you want people converted over to your new client, right?
Right. And I mean, I would much rather just open up the new client and not have to worry about the old client.
And that's actually that's a great idea, CB, because then you're in the same place where you're playing your favorite tables, and they have the upgraded version right there. Maybe there's a sale or something, and you're like, you know what, I will upgrade it, even though I already own it, just to see how these new physics work. And then you get sales that way. Like, there's just no reason not to support your biggest fans, right? Like, pinball is a pretty niche hobby already, and then a video game version of it is even more niche. So, like, why would you not cater to your most ardent, diehard fans?
Because I'm willing to bet the hardcore pinball fans, who I've seen what they spend on a pinball table, don't care.
And maybe that's what they're betting on, but that's garbage. I'm sorry. I know we have friends over at Zen Studios, but so I hope they put earmuffs on. But like that's crap. That's complete crap, man. To not even like just to not even offer a discount is insulting.
Not even like 10%.
Nothing. I would say the minimum should be 50%. But I get licenses are not cheap. I understand, and you have Disney licenses, right? Like, those are pretty major. and I'm sure you had to renegotiate.
Oh, because the Marvel, yeah.
Well, the Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars.
So
and Fox, they own the Alien tables.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. So anyway, Disney owns most of it. But that's just... Sometimes you just got to eat costs as a developer to keep your fans happy, Like, that's messed up.
I mean, there's a lot of inner workings. I don't know, but...
They're going to release this game and be like, all tables are free.
Scott, I know you're just a super nice guy. And I know you don't want to just cut loose. I know you have to be mad about this, though.
I was. I kind of went off on Facebook a little bit. I know you're not on Facebook, but somebody actually called me out. Actually, Grant Henry called me out. He's like, come on, man. That would be like them making Last of Us remastered and just giving it to you for free. And I was like, Grant, they did.
That's exactly what they did.
And he's like, oh, wow, bad example. I thought that was really funny. I mean, the difference there is that game was not built on a new engine. It was just,
No, okay, but you could still use the Assassin's Creed 4, right? Where they did the $10 upgrade charge if you had it on PS3 to PS4.
Sure.
Like even something like that. And that, so that was a 20% discount or whatever it was. I'm not good at this on the fly stuff, math wise. But it's so they gave you, so for 10% of what you paid, you got the upgraded fee. Like, I don't know, man. It's just, they should have some kind of program in place for the people because it's people like you that they get to make another Pinball FX at all.
Right. Plus, I feel like they're going to sell, like, even if they offered like a, hey, like a different tiered thing. Like if you own 10 tables, you can get this percentage. You paid this flat fee to get them converted. If you own between this many and this many tables, you get this or whatever. Which wouldn't work. I understand how that wouldn't work because then people would just buy up. Maybe if they were like one shy or whatever, buy another table on there.
Yeah, and then, I mean, there's ways to approach it. There's like a $50 transfer pass where that's for some people, yeah, it might not be worth it, but for the $400 people, it would absolutely be worth it. Like there are ways to approach this where it doesn't come off as scummy.
Dude, I would pay $100 to transfer all my tables over, and I guarantee you, I'm going to spend that before I'm going to spend whatever it costs to purchase any of these tables, because I'm just going to go play them. I may pick up like some of my favorites on the new engine, like my go-to ones, my real good ones, but I'm not going to go like recreate my life. Granted, there's going to be some people out there that are going to do that.
Absolutely, and I'm sure that they're counting on those whales, like CB said, who are pinball fans and don't care what they spend.
Right.
But it's just, and I know they're a small developer and everything, but it's horrific optics.
Yeah.
You look like a trash company right now. You look like dirtbags.
I want to see one of the tables that I know and love and see on the new engine to see how much different it is.
How much does each new table cost?
They usually come in packs of 3 for about $10, between $10 and $15.
That's that adds up quick.
See, when you buy the new game, they should give you any one table of your choice.
That should be the minimum, yeah, I guess.
Well, you don't pay for the client. The client is free.
Well, I know, but they usually come with like some of the generic games.
Yeah.
Like Black Knight is always one of them. But like any one table, like if you're previous
on there, that's a Williams, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I guess you're right. I was playing a Williams pinball game not that long ago.
I own one Pinball FX table.
Just shoot.
So I'm not.
Yeah,
I want my Boba Fett table on my new PS5.
There you go.
I just think they should give you like one just so you could try out the new physics.
Well, I can't imagine they won't. They'll give you one of the like the original tables that they made, like Excalibur or something like that. I don't know, which is a great table. I like that one, but I don't know. I just want to see what this new engine is all about. But anyway, we talked a lot about pinball. I know we're boring some people to death probably, but I get to talk about pinball all day long. But
it's near and dear to your heart,
It is, and I hate being that guy that gets upset by that, but it seriously felt like, really? I've spent all this money for you guys over the years, and granted, $400 over a decade probably isn't that much money.
But again, if not for people like you, they don't get to make a new Pinball FX.
Right.
I know. I know you don't swing as hard as me, and I know neither of us swings as hard as CB. But this is a scenario that it definitely calls for it. Don't shake your head, CB. That's a compliment. Come on now.
I know, but I still gotta shake my head. It's what I do.
All right, we got to talk about the Sony thing. This happened today. Remember we were talking about how the PS3 games and the Vita games were no longer going to be available online, and everybody just like lost their minds. Well, they changed their mind and said today that the PlayStation 3 and Vita games will still be available for digital purpose, but the PSP games are still going away July 2nd. That was just kind of like casually put into the article, which I thought was funny. So PSP games are going to go through the roof now, right, CB?
They already have.
Yeah.
So if the Vita store has PSP games on it, are those still going to be there?
Sounds
those
like
will probably
not.
still be there. No. If it's been transferred into the Vita store, my guess is it'll still be there, but it's going to be those like exclusive ones that are only available on the PSP.
Right.
Like those are probably like gone. The funnier thing is
I'm curious about that.
Yeah. The funnier thing is like on my side of things, like the collector market, as soon as they announced this, like what was it today?
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching people dump all these PS3, PSP, and PS Vita games like gangbusters because everybody was hoarding them, and the prices have been skyrocketing. Now they're like, oh my god, I got to get out from under this because I spent way too much acquiring all this, thinking it was going to be gone, and so some of those prices are starting to dip, and I'm like, thank God, because I was worried. But then there's the other ones that people are like, oh nope, I am not budging on this price.
I find a lot of humor in a bunch of people online who are like, well, I scooped up all these games because I was worried they're going to go away. Like, do I get my money back? Like, what's that about? And I'm like, so wait, it sounds like you didn't actually want them then, right? It sounds like you weren't too upset about the store closing. You just thought you were upset.
It's just people thinking like, oh well, I'm gonna make the quick buck.
Yeah. And
it backfired, and it's kind of making me laugh.
It's always fun to see.
Anyway, good on Sony. I know that it doesn't bother me as much as it does some people. I'm not going to go back and play PS3 or Vita games, but
the company's decision making lately has made the company appear as though it is on fire. So it is good that they've thrown some water on it.
Yeah, they needed a win. This is definitely
desperately.
A win.
Yes.
So I thought that was interesting. The other thing is, I don't want to go through the entire thing here with Nintendo, but how crazy is it that they're bringing Fez back on the Switch? Like, I don't know. Is
Phil Fish turning over in his grave right now?
Did he die?
No, but he's nowhere to be seen.
Oh no, I know that. I thought maybe he like actually died and I didn't know that. I was like, okay. Yeah, because like Fez was like a big deal for a minute. That whole story was crazy. I did not get the game. I didn't play it long enough to really see what the whole thing was, but now that it's coming to Switch, I kind of want to check it out again just to see what everybody was talking about. I remember Giant Bomb, they were talking about that game and just how nuts that game was back in the day. And
Jeff Gerstmann especially was quite obsessed with Fez. Yeah.
I kind of want to go see what that is. What is it like? It's like $15 or something?
Yeah. It's not that bad.
I kind of want to go see what that's all about, but I don't know. And TMNT Shredder's Revenge we already talked about.
I think that game Creed Tales looks pretty special.
Yeah? I didn't watch the whole showcase. Remind me what that is.
It's kind of like a hand-drawn looking JRPG. I think there's some time travel involved. It just looked really cool. Caught my eye, I guess. It's hard.
Go ahead.
I appreciated that the showcase was only 20 minutes, but it was kind of hard to get a feel for a lot of the games when they were going by so fast like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more excited by House of the Dead remake.
I was going to ask, how is that going to work on a Switch? Is that a move a cursor type of situation?
I don't know. I don't care. I love the House of the Dead games. Time Crisis. I love those games.
Yeah.
So I Who knows? They do have a Switch gun accessory.
Oh, or could you just like use the Switch Joy-Con?
Use your Joy-Con.
Yeah, probably.
That's a good call. We probably, as 3 ardent video game players, should have figured that out a few minutes ago, but
probably.
Yeah,
but
that's
how bad is it going to
play.
feel for the Switch Lite people?
Yeah, like me.
Oh, wah wah.
By the way, did you see the new Switch Lite color?
Oh, the like that blue,
purple kind of thing. I'm not gonna buy a new one. Yeah. Trust me, I'm not going to. But I really wish mine were that color instead of the powder blue one I got.
It's funny because I've already seen mock-ups where that's going to be the color used for the Zelda console.
Ooh, well, I'm going to have to buy that one. Why would you not do dark green for a Zelda console? What were we going to say, Zach?
I was going to say, what'd you guys think of the Aztec Forgotten Gods trailer?
Did not watch that one either. I'll fully admit it. You gotta talk to me about it. What is it? Huh?
I mean, it just kind of like a third-person kind of action hack and slash sort of Devil May Cry deal, but use like Aztec mythology, but they're giant robots instead. It looked pretty sick, is what I'm saying.
Huh? That sounds interesting.
You said giant robots. I'm in.
It looked metal, if you will.
Nice.
Wow, you're really trying to sell me on it now.
Right, it really reminded me of the Amory Wars, let me tell you.
Oh man, now you're speaking my language.
That would be, you can't sell anything harder than that.
The one that stood out to me, and this is going to make you laugh, is Skull, the Hero Slayer, is coming to the Switch.
Sounds familiar.
Very stoked about that. That was a game that Kevin reviewed for us on our site, and he liked it so much, and he said that after hearing me talk about roguelikes, that he's like, I have to play this game. He convinced me to buy it. It's available on Mac. Bought it on a Mac, and cannot get my controller to work on Mac. Just cannot. Nothing. And it's actually not just me. I've seen lots of other people. Kevin said, "Don't worry, I'll loan you a laptop." So he loaned me a laptop because PC could probably get a controller to work better. Cannot get it to work. It took me 2 days to get run all the updates. It was an older laptop. Run all the updates and finally get the game. I had to uninstall it, reinstall it. I got it finally hooked up, and I can't get the controller to work. Bluetooth, wired, just will not work. So now that's coming to console, and I can just install it and play it no problem. I'm just going to play it there instead. So I was about ready to. I was not happy this weekend trying to play that game. I'm like, this is why I don't PC game. I understand it's an old PC, and if I put my thousands of dollars into it, I would just have smooth sailing. But, I'll play it on my $200 Switch and pay $15 for it instead and have a great time. So
I'm going to laugh when it only comes to the actual Switch and not the Switch Lite.
I have a regular Switch as well. So anyway, let's go ahead and move on. We brought it up a little bit earlier, but we've been recording some extra Patreon episodes. I know that we did not fulfill our commitment last month, and we were making it up for it this month by recording one once a week. And Zach, why don't you tell everybody what we've recorded so far? I know that. Don't look confused at me. Just tell them what we've talked about.
You threw me off.
I know.
Well, I mean, we got the Spec Ops: The Line Legacy episode.
Uh-huh.
And then we have a bit of a deep dive, which Scott will not let me call going deep, on the recent comments from the Days Gone director about how if you don't support a game at full price, you shouldn't support it at all. Basically, we kind of get into that. His curse words. Is that what you're gonna say?
Yeah, I was gonna say colorful metaphors, but yes.
Yes, we do get a little raunchy on Patreon, which is nice because I curse a lot, as Scott reminds me. So it's nice to cut loose.
And we do need to come up with a name for those episodes where we take a deeper dive into some of these things and just kind of cut loose with the conversation. So, but
we could just call them deep dives, which would be pretty on the nose. But
deep dives.
I was trying to use the word "go" in there.
Going deeper. Oh yeah, I see what you did. But yeah, that was actually a pretty fun conversation, and I'm looking forward to doing that each week. So Hopefully you can check that out. And if that sounds like something you would be interested in listening to, head over to patreon.com/thegocast. If you subscribe for $3 a month, we give you an extra episode. If you subscribe for $5 a month, we give you an extra second episode as well. We're going to throw some bonus episodes to each tier as well as we get them. So stay tuned for that. Let's go ahead now and jump into the newer games coming out this week and new things that we've been playing. It looks like this week's a little bit more exciting, Zach, at least for you.
Yeah, well, games are finally coming out, whether or not you're me.
Fine.
Thank you. And then, so MLB The Show 21 is coming to PS5, PS4, and I still can't believe it, Xbox Series X and Xbox One on April 20th. Nice. Anyway, then JRPG franchise Atelier is dropping the Atelier Mystery Trilogy Deluxe Packs on PS4, Switch, and PC April 22nd. Very cute looking game called Buildings Have Feelings 2, where you're concerned about the feelings of buildings. Coming to PS4, Xbox One, and Switch PC April 22nd. Judgment, the detective game that takes place in the Yakuza world, coming to PS5, Xbox Series X, and holy crap, The Stadia on April 22nd.
Wow.
I can't believe that thing's still trucking along. Classic game Shantae is getting re-released on the Switch April 22nd. CB somehow already has a physical copy of that?
Yes, I do.
That seems
suspect.
Interesting. Well, sus. Red acting sus right now.
Yeah.
Smelter coming to PS4, Switch, and PC April 22nd. And guys, I can't even believe I have a grin on my face right now. I cannot believe it's happening. The game I used to talk about so much, Scott had to ban me from talking about it. Nier Replicant version 1.224744874139, which is the square root of 1.5, by the way, in case you're wondering where they got that.
Oh.
That's going to PS4, Xbox One, and PC April 23rd. Now everybody can experience the greatest story video games have ever told.
We'll
see.
It's pretty special, guys. You're gonna love it. You know, it's a weird one.
I am gonna play it, Zach, for you. I'm gonna play it.
Yeah, I wonder how it's, because a lot of the systems, the quest structure felt dated even in 2010. So I'm wondering how people will respond to that in 2021. But I think people are gonna love it. Especially they threw in a bunch of Automata references and DLC, so to spice it up for the Automata fans. Since that game has now somehow sold 5.5 million copies.
Hey, good on them.
Very nice.
I am shockingly excited for MLB The Show 21. I mean,
I'm going to be playing it.
Yeah. Especially because, like, Xbox One, I don't have to worry about renting it for a weekend. I can just play it whenever I want to. We've been talking on our Discord with our community about putting together a franchise mode, or like is that what it's called? Where you play with, you play like, yeah, you have a franchise where each player plays a team and you actually schedule games with one another. That sounds kind of fun.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. What about you, CB?
I'm going to be playing MLB The Show.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually finally get to play this game and not have to worry about playing it where trophies are a thing.
Right.
Trophies are awesome.
I will say,
I hope they.
Did either of you watch the trailer for Smelter?
Yes. It looks really good.
That looks really good.
Looks rad, man.
Like lots of different genres going in there. I think Rel was talking about it in our Discord, saying that it reminded him of ActRaiser, like back in.
Because it comes out on Xbox as well.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because it's in the Xbox store. I was looking at it earlier today.
Oh, okay. Looks like okay.
Oh, my bad.
Now I got a bigger smile on my face.
Because I made a mistake.
No, not because of that.
Maybe CB's wrong.
Maybe CB's wrong.
Maybe I am.
Because you can play it on the system you like.
That is true.
That's what I was going for. Not. I don't take guys joy in your mistakes, man.
Why not?
I'm not that guy. Not that guy.
I mean, obviously, I think you guys all really care about the Nier Replicant, right?
I am going to be playing that as well, yes. So it's going to be a busy week.
Yeah, well, it's about time some video games are coming out.
Yeah, they all got to come out at the same time. Like, could we have these like one or two of these a week? I don't know.
Of course, that is how it works. But hey, speaking of new games, you guys are playing. Well, it's not really that new, I guess. But Super Meat Boy Forever finally came to Xbox, and you guys have been playing it.
Yes, CB's made it further than I have. I made it through the first world, as it were. Yeah, like you said, it's not a new game. This was released on Switch a while back, but it finally came to Xbox and PlayStation. So I picked it up on Xbox this week, and boy, is it tough.
Is the forever there because it is an endless runner, or because it's procedurally generated, or
no? It's not procedurally generated. It is the same thing. It's much like the original Super Meat Boy had like that overworld map where you had to levels 1, 2, whatever. But this one also has bosses at the end of each world, and but it's a runner, and it's not just jumping. You have to slide under things. You have a ability to punch in midair, which gives you like an extra jump. Your jumps have to be very precise, very perfect. Lots of feathering of jumps. It's hard, man. And the original Super Meat. Go ahead, CB. I'm talking over you.
I was gonna say you have no idea.
Yeah, I'm only in the first world.
It only gets worse.
Yeah, but you're normally not good at platformers, and
You keep saying that, but I've actually gotten like a lot better since the last time you played a platformer.
Well,
with
dude,
me.
we've had a pandemic since then and now. We hardly ever get to like actually hang out in person now.
True.
We do like
D&D.
D&D.
I did beat the first boss in under 30 seconds.
Oh, really? It took me a little bit longer than that, but one of the crown jewels of the original Meat Boy was like if you die, it just starts over very quickly. Somehow it feels like it's even quicker in this game than it was in the original.
I know you talked about the original Super Meat Boy. I never played that one.
Mm-hmm.
I expected going into this game for it to be like unbelievably like maddening and just frustrating. I almost expected like Runner 3, where if you screwed up and died, you started all the way back at the beginning.
Right. This is like little bite-sized chunks.
This drops you like almost exactly where like you died, and you just have to progress through each of the areas. But man, you are not kidding. This game requires like precision, timing, and planning on a level that is maddening.
Mm-hmm.
So maddening, in fact, I broke a controller.
Oh, is it? Please tell me it wasn't your Elite.
No, it was not my Elite, but it was my Xbox Series X controller, one of them.
So did you throw it against the wall, or what'd you do?
No. The A button broke.
What?
From jumping. Because like it requires like such fast, like I was getting frustrated and wound up like shoving the button into the circuit board.
You and those big paws.
Like I was sitting here, I'm like, why am I not jumping? I look down and the A button is just mashed into the controller, and I'm like, oh no.
That's hilarious.
So Xbox Series X already broke a controller. It's not like I didn't go through like 10 of them with my Xbox One.
You got a problem, man. You gotta curb that.
This game brings out the rage, man. Because it's one of those games where when you are actually playing this, like when you screw up, you know it's your fault.
Yep.
Like this game does not make it. It does not feel cheap. Except later on in the game where there are areas later on in it's like World 4 where not only do you have to like jump, but dive down, re-jump, dive, jump, hit something. Like the complex movement is insane.
Yeah.
And there's something later on that they add in where there's these orbs that come at you. You have to punch the orb or the orb will kill you.
Uh-huh.
Then the orb surrounds you and you have to punch to get rid of the orb before the orb kills you. So it's adding like another level of difficulty to it.
The thing that screws me up with this game, and again, I'm only one world in, is you don't have any forward movement control because it's a runner, right? But there are parts of the game where you have to reverse direction by jumping off of a wall. Like, so if you hit a wall and you jump, he'll jump, like you do a wall jump like in Mario, right? But instead of using that wall to jump up, you're jumping backwards to run from right to left now instead of left to right. But there's something that does not work in my brain to tell me how to do that. Like you have to, because you have to be pressing in the opposite direction in order to switch directions. But if you just jump, then he does a wall climb like he did in the original game. So it's like this weird thing you have to do in your brain to remember to push off of the thing in order to reverse direction. But yeah, it becomes a memorization game. But like you said, CB, it's not memorizing an entire level at once. You're just memorizing this one small chunk. You survive and then do the next chunk. Survive, do the next chunk. And
unless you want the achievements.
Oh my God, the achievements are ridiculous.
You have to play through each level without dying.
Wow.
Yeah.
Prove you're a real gamer, brah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And again, like I'm amazed because this game only uses 2 buttons, literally. A and down on the D-pad.
No, you have an X for attack.
That's true. I forgot that I rebound that button. But that's it. Like it's really 3 buttons. That's all you use. So A, X, and down. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, even though this game is incredibly maddening, it's unbelievably addicting.
And satisfying when you get through something that feels good.
Yeah, except when that does the replay and you watch yourself die 80 sometimes.
Oh, but that's cool because in the original it was always on one screen, right? So you saw all the guys just like doing everything wrong and exploding into bloody meat or whatever. This one, it continuously goes, so you're not on one screen. So you'll see where you screwed up and then all of a sudden he's gone. I don't know. It was... At first, I was missing that because I wasn't dying as much that first level or two. I was like, oh man, I kind of missed seeing all that, and then I started seeing it once I started dying because I died a lot, like hundreds of times in that first world.
Wait till you get to the 3rd boss.
Yeah,
I almost quit, and then when I actually did beat the 3rd boss, it was like, ah.
So you had that like Dark Souls, Bloodborne feeling, a sense of accomplishment?
Yeah. You really do. And then I hit the 4th level and I hit a wall and I've only gotten through 2 of the levels in the 4th level.
Well, there's only 4 worlds, right?
Wrong.
Well, you get the Dark World.
The Dark World.
Yeah. I mean, that was in the original as well, too.
Right,
so yeah,
I remember being young and upset about the Dark World's existence because I thought I had finally beaten the game.
Not only that, but then there's also the warps and the pacifiers to find.
Oh my God, some of those I can't even because it's not like in the original where you could stop and like kind of stare and figure out how to do it. It's a runner, so you're constantly moving. You can't just do it.
It's an interesting way to bring Super Meat Boy back after so long.
Right.
Is to put it in a genre that I feel like not a lot of people love.
And the humor in this story is like really because there's no words in the storytelling. It's just like these little cutscenes.
That's right, because you didn't put the first one, so you've never seen these characters before.
No, so the humor is pretty funny.
Well, in the original,
Fetus make a return.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
In the original, you were Super Meat Boy rescuing Bandage Girl from Dr. Fetus. And in this one, you can actually choose between playing Super Meat Boy or Bandage Girl, and you were rescuing their baby, whose name is Nugget, which cracks me up. But yeah.
Is he a piece of meat wrapped in bandages?
Yes, he is.
Oh. Okay. All right.
And he's got a pacifier and... I don't know, the cutscene with him and the first boss is pretty funny. It's just ridiculous, but another inspiration for weird games to talk about this week.
Yeah. I recommend it for people that like to smash their face into a wall.
Here's the thing, like I don't enjoy it as much as the first one. Like I miss having the full control. I don't know why, because I don't hate runner games. It just hasn't clicked with me in a way where I feel like I'm good at it. Where I felt like with Super Meat Boy, I could get to the point where I felt like what I was doing was impressive. I never feel like I'm doing anything impressive in this game. I'm just being wildly unsuccessful multiple times until I finally get it that one time. You know?
I don't hate runner games either, but after this long with Super Meat Boy, I kind of just want like Super Meat Boy 2.
Right. That's what I wanted as well. And it kind of is. I mean, it's just more runner, but you get over that hump
it's just
pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But I would still recommend it. Like, what's interesting, and this is what I was trying to say earlier, is I played that Super Ghouls and Ghosts remake, Resurrection. That frustrated me more than this. Because that game is super unforgiving, and there are moments in that game where it doesn't feel like it's your fault. Super Meat Boy, like CB said, if you die, you know it was your fault. You know what you screwed up.
Yeah.
I will say one negative about it is I feel like at the beginning when they're trying to teach you the stuff, the respawn is too quick. Like you're supposed to like read the text that's going on where they're trying to teach you what you're supposed to do, like press down to slide or X to punch or whatever. I had like 2 seconds to read this thing while the runner is going. You know what I mean? I kind of wanted to like stop and let me read that and then move on or something. I don't know, but that's a minor complaint. It took me all of 2 minutes to get past that. So anyway, that's all we've played in terms of new games. But Super Meat Boy Forever is I have a feeling CB will beat that before I will. I think he has more patience than I do for difficult games.
His controller
I gotta buy a new controller first.
That's true. That'd be a fun game to sit down and play together. Actually, like pass a controller. You know, like
we'd be passing the controller way too quick. Be like dead.
No, not like on a death, like checkpoints or something.
So like every 15 feet.
But still, I mean, that'd be kind of fun just to like take a break, but still feel like you're accomplishing something.
Instead of smashing your controller, you pass it to the other person.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd just be like, okay, I'm gonna play it for 3 minutes and then switch off.
Yeah, just do a timer. See how far you get, take a break, and then watch. There's something about watching somebody do it, be like, I can do that. You die at this 19 times. I can do it. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on. No new Facebook members this week, but if you would like to join the community over there, head over to facebook.com/groups/the GoCast. We got an awesome group of people over there posting comments, posting news stories, posting memes, all video game related, and we'd love if you join, as well as our Discord. There is a link in the show notes for our Discord, and we do occasionally set up community game nights. We need to do another one. I had somebody, Mike and Taylor, contacted me and said they wanted to play Killer Queen Black with us again. They had such a good time doing that. I would be down for doing more Killer Queen Black.
That was super fun.
I want to play What the Dub.
Do you have it?
Yeah.
Okay, well we should do that and then follow up with Killer Queen Black right afterwards. That'd be good.
If somebody wants to play Injustice 2 with me, hit me up. How about that? I'll throw that out there.
I have Injustice 2, don't I? CB?
Yeah.
It was a free on Game Pass one, wasn't it?
I should specify on PlayStation. How about that?
Well,
yeah,
I still could.
I just suck at fighting games, and I can't get myself to play them in single player because I suck so bad. So I just want to play some of those. Just throwing that out there.
Let's do it. Also, hit us up on Apple Podcasts. Drop us a review. It helps us get the word out about what we're doing. And also, lastly, check out our website, thegamingoutsider.com. That's where you will be able to see all of our podcast episodes, as well as our written content. And we've got some new reviews this week. Zack did a review on Lost Words Beyond the Page. You can read about that. Also, his previously mentioned Star Wars Republic Commando review is up. And lastly, CB's review of In the Rays of Light. You can check that out. Although he didn't really enjoy that game very much.
No.
That's okay. I like the games I play, so
yeah,
there's some positivity.
There is some positivity there. Let's go ahead now and jump into our From the Outside In topic. So this week, after playing not only Super Meat Boy Forever, but also Katamari Damacy, I was like, you know what? We should talk about weird and bizarre games. So first off, is it possible for games to get too weird? Are we drawn to specific kinds of weird? A lot of game directors let their freak flag fly, and we're often the better for it, most of the time. So the question is, can games get too weird for you guys, or does this bizarre intrigue your curiosity? CB?
I'm going to flat out answer this question right now. No, they don't. The weirder, the better, man. You've seen some of what's in my collection. I love bizarre games.
Yeah, some stuff you show me in your collection that you won't talk about anywhere else because you probably shouldn't own them in your collection.
Probably not, but some of, and I will say most of those ones are still sealed. They have not been played, just because they are a little too bizarre for public viewing. But there's been a couple of them I've unwrapped. Like, all right, Scott, we got to play this. Lust for Darkness.
Oh my god, dude, that's not a game. That's literally just watching pornography.
Well, no, that would be that Coven game that we played on 3DO.
Oh no, Lust for Darkness was the one that had the automated machine.
Yes, that was that one on the Switch. Yeah. I mean, Senran Kagura games, Panty Party.
Pretty much.
Oh my god,
Senran
Panty
Kagura
Party.
Game.
And Panty Party is like not like an overly dirty game. It's just you're playing as a pair of panties fighting other pairs of panties.
It's a third-person shooter multiplayer where you're a pair of panties shooting at other pairs of panties. Like it does.
Nobody's wearing them. Like there's no like people in the game. It's just underwear fighting underwear. It's really weird.
It's just somebody wanted this game to exist, and dude, it's an awful. It controls terribly.
It's terrible.
I would imagine, yes.
But I've said this multiple times on this show. If you're an indie developer and you want to make something weird, man, I'm all for it. I will play your game. One of my favorite games, Freedom Finger. That game is bizarre as hell. I thoroughly enjoy it. I think it's one of the funniest things I've played in a long time. Real quick comment from one of our listeners, Noe Bushman. Honestly, it may not be weird to anyone else, but I was just also a kid when I played it at 2 a.m. Fatal Frame. I remember when that game first came out, and it seemed weird.
It seemed weird because it was a horror game where you could not defend yourself with a normal weapon, a conventional weapon.
Yeah.
But
and it worked.
That was a cool idea at the time because we were so used to just like killing everything, or even a flashlight, which I guess a camera kind of is a flashlight. It's it's a flash, but.
Yeah, but later on, some of these games have really kind of paved the way for other games. And I mean, if you want to talk about like weird games from the PS2 era, Mr. Mosquito. Yeah. That game's super weird. Plays a mosquito sucking blood.
One of the first games I think about when I think about weird games. That game's so weird that on the main menu, if you spin the analog sticks in opposite directions, I think it's 1,000 times or 10,000 times, you unlock a sumo wrestler bicycle minigame where you have to shove each other off the top of a mountain in a game called Mr. Mosquito.
How do people figure that out?
Word of mouth.
10,000 times?
It's either 1,000 or I'm pretty sure it's 10,000, but I could be wrong. But yeah, what a weird thing.
We got to make that happen now, dude.
You want to buy a copy of Mr. Mosquito? Good luck.
Are they that expensive?
I know the last time I looked, like a loose disc was like $85.
Which is awesome because I'm pretty sure it originally retailed for $20.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But I love, and even bigger budget stuff, Lollipop Chainsaw.
Yes. Anything Suda. Anything Suda 51.
Oh, I have a Suda game on my list. For sure.
Lollipop Chainsaw, co-written by James Gunn.
No way.
Yeah, man.
Actually, that makes sense.
But that was, he wasn't James Gunn yet, though.
Right.
Just little gun. So, I mean, yeah, for me, there's no such thing as too weird.
Do you agree, Zach?
I do, absolutely. There, you know what? I'm just going to top it up or go with Daniel Gilmour's comment. The common denominator. I didn't read your whole comment, Daniel, because you had a lot to say, but this was poignant. The common denominator is that weird games are bold. They try something new instead of copying a previous title or playing it safe. Even if a weird game is bad, it's still awesome because it's weird. In that regard, no game is too weird for me. Is that weird to say? And I generally agree. I'll say when I was younger, I definitely disliked weird games because they were too wacky or too weird. But I've embraced wackiness in my later years. And yeah, man, I'm all about weird games. Absolutely. Mr. Mosquito is a great example. This is a moment where I actually get to talk about Yoko Taro because all of his games are bizarre. Drakengard 3 is about a woman who you're trailing around with a harem of men, and you're talking dragon who acts like a baby and pees himself. It's very weird, but it's pretty great. And when you die, you get reborn out of a flower. It's good stuff. Or, I mean, Nier is about an old man, a talking book, a sentient skeleton, and a hermaphrodite on a quest to save a little girl.
Sold. See, when I was a kid, if you had told me that, I'd been like, what? But now I'm like, all right, giddy up.
I'm the same way. Yeah, when I was younger, the weird stuff almost annoyed me.
Right.
I'm like, that's just, they're trying too hard, they're going, but now I'm like, shoot that in my veins, man.
What's that game you played recently where like you started in the yolk of an egg?
Oh, yeah, Anodyne. Anodyne 2.
Anodyne 2,
Return from Us. Yeah, you started an egg and you hatch yourself out. That game was utterly bizarre. And you talked to the other yolks who were competing for life that you beat out. That was your tutorial. And then you go and talk to worms in an alleyway who give you dairy facts that are actually true.
Like, the more you talk about that game, the more I want to play it just to see how weird that can get.
It's, every 10 minutes it just gets weirder.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you think about some of these weird games, if they didn't exist, a lot of modern games wouldn't. Yeah,
that's why I'm okay with a lot of weird games, because as weird as some game may be, it might have been the cornerstone for something else that we loved. And plus, I just like seeing just how bizarre and how far somebody's imagination can go. I mean,
yeah, that's what fascinates me is like these artists, like who thinks this stuff up?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't I think this stuff up?
Right.
I mean, you want to talk about a weird game? Look at Cutie Booty Delivery Duty.
Death Stranding.
Death Stranding.
Yeah, which Daniel Gilmour did mention in that it's a game where you're got a baby strapped to your chest while you're throwing pea grenades at ghosts. Like, yeah, I guess it is pretty weird.
That's super weird.
Pea grenades?
You can make grenades.
Your grenades are made from your pee and poop.
What?
That's 100% true.
All right.
And you're chugging Monster Energy drinks all the long day.
Yeah.
You're right. And for some reason, and Norman Reedus is there. That's definitely weird. And I would say, I know Metal Gear Solid is beloved, but it's also weird as hell.
Oh yeah. Those games get consistently weirder with each one. Like the first one was weird in a over-the-top action movie kind of way.
Right.
But then they just got weirder.
Then you're on top of a giant mech that's carrying a nuke, and you're talking to your brother who was cloned from the same DNA strands you were, but he got the dominant genes and you got the recessive ones. Like, what?
Yeah, but I mean, you can kind of buy that a little bit.
No,
then you get to 4.
No. Okay, can you imagine if somebody pitched Death Stranding in the PS1 era? Like, pitch that game then, and everybody would be like, what?
Well, it's because it was Kojima, and Kojima has built a name for himself and can do no
so
wrong nowadays.
A blank check.
Okay, fine. Pitch Lollipop Chainsaw in the PS1 era,
but I still feel like
or any Yoko Taro game.
They're definitely weird. There's definitely weird stuff on PS1, though, right?
Oh yeah,
there is, but I feel that with each generation, like the bizarre meter has just like ramped up.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of that has to do with Japan.
Well,
that brings up another good point. Do you think it's a cultural barrier that makes it seem like most of the weird games come out of Japan? Or maybe there's simply a lot of different sort of creative freedom over there?
I do think, okay. Like the panty games and the massage games and all those kind of things, I think are, because even as repressed as we are here in America sexually, they are more so, right? Like their pornography has to be pixelated.
Right. Just on the dirty bit.
Yes, but they're even more in the closet about sex stuff. So I think that leads to a natural, like, how far can we get without actually having sex kind of deal.
Right.
So I think I think a little bit of it is a cultural barrier, but it just does feel like they're just allowed to do weirder stuff there, right? Like when we think about weird games, I know my brain immediately goes to Hideo Kojima and Yoko Taro and Suda51 and even a little bit of what Platinum Games does. Right, like Bayonetta, I don't think is a game that could have been made in America.
Right. But I think a lot of it has to do with is that there's like a sense of shame in purchasing or admitting that you play weird things here. Right?
Yeah, that's a good point too, yeah.
Like over there, it's just kind of the norm. I get the impression, I've never been there, but that's the impression I get.
Right, no, I mean, you're right, because weird games do get budgets, and they come over here, like, like even Devil May Cry 5. Dante puts on a cowboy hat at one point and just does a Michael Jackson dance routine. Couched in between two incredibly serious scenes.
Yeah.
That's not gonna happen in an American product.
No, not at all. But it'll still hear
dressing in a dress.
What's that?
Cloud in a dress.
Yeah, that's another example.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely some weirdness. So yeah, maybe Scott is onto something with in America we're kind of shamed for being weird or eccentric, where it's almost seems celebrated in Japan, which you could say with the success of weird and eccentric game developers, right? Like Yoko Taro wears a moon, a meal mask that looks like a moon in every interview, and wiggles around on the floor during interviews and stuff, and he's celebrated for it.
Yep.
Well, I think it's also studios over here are afraid to take the risk. Like, is this going to sell? Probably not. Then I'm not going to greenlight it.
Right. Oh, it'll sell 1 million copies? That's not good enough. We will only focus on the games that will sell 10 million.
Yeah. What do you think, CB?
So, well, first off, I want to get this out of the way. Reading a listener comment, just because I had the unfortunateness of playing one of the games he talked about at Stoy's house.
Oh, yeah.
Stefan Rombing wants to say, I have two, actually. I still remember the first time I played Leisure Suit Larry on the Amiga. Good callback there. I haven't heard that console in a while. And the hand to the back of my head from my mom when she walked in and asked, WTF was I playing? And then there was a game from 2018 called Genital Jousting, where one plays a wiggly male body part. I found it hilarious and outright dumb. And
that's not
an
exaggeration, by the way. That is actually what that game is.
Yeah, it really is. And I find that games don't normally go off the deep end until they become too real. And by that, I mean that things that could actually happen in real life. A good example is Rockstar's Bully. Yeah.
So let me get this straight. Stefan is okay with wiggling male members But playing as a bully is a problem.
It's not even that weird.
I didn't think it was that weird either.
No, but genital jousting was weird.
Yeah.
No, I do kind of. I just wanted to read that real quick because I remembered that comment. But as far as cultural impact, I do agree with Zach. I feel that. Can you imagine if you took some of the bizarre developers here and sent them to Japan and said, "Here's a budget, do whatever you want."
What bizarre developers?
No, I'm just saying there's got to be a few out here. Like whoever made genital jousting, send them to Japan.
Do we know that's an American developer?
I don't know, but there's lots of Steam products out there that are bizarre. Let them do their thing. But so we have Bandai Namco here in America. They also have Bandai Namco in Japan. In America, I don't think this game would ever get made, but on PSVR, there's the game Summer Lesson.
Oh, yes.
That game got made in Japan under Bandai Namco. Here, I don't think it would ever happen. For those of you that don't know what that game is, it's available on PS4, where you play a teacher giving special summer lessons to a female. There's no nudity. It's a very uncomfortable game to play.
Or
I've only
very relaxing, depending on your perspective.
True. It's just it's super.
Genital jousting developed by a South African developer.
Interesting.
Well, bravo to him, or her. I don't know.
Them.
It's free lives.
Them. There we go. So yeah, I definitely feel that in Japan that there is, even in Europe, anywhere outside of the U.S.
commercials, don't they?
Yes. They also swear on TV and it's not censored.
But to CB, to your point though, we get press releases from Square Enix, and you get them from Square Enix West and Square Enix East. Not only are the games out of Square Enix East, the weirder kind of games like the Kingdom Hearts franchise or linear franchise.
They're sexier.
Sure, they're sexier as well. But then you get the Square Enix West games, which are Tomb Raider. Used to be Hitman, little games, Avengers, stuff that's a little bit more reserved. But the division is so deep culturally that they have different PR companies. There's definitely a clear division between what is allowed on one side of one hemisphere versus what's allowed on the other.
Yeah, and I know we talked about this a few months ago. It's even gotten to the point that it's affected consoles. I remember it used to be if you wanted to make something super bizarre and weird, you went to Sony. Now Sony's like, no. We don't do that anymore. But Nintendo's like,
Go to Nintendo,
hell yeah, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And you know why that culture shift happened at Sony? Is because they let PlayStation North America take the reins on PlayStation.
Yeah,
that is why the leadership shifted towards America interests, and you had to put sun glare on butts in Devil May Cry all of a sudden.
Yeah. Honestly, I picked up the game. I don't know if I'm going to open it up, but I picked up a Switch game, Waifu Uncovered, which is a shmup. It's a shmup where you shoot off clothes. Not available in the US, only in Japan and Europe.
Can I ask a completely ignorant question? What the hell is waifu? Is that I see people use that all the time. I have no idea. Does it mean wife?
I will defer to Zach's expertise.
Yeah, I don't know what it actually means in Japanese, but waifus and husbandos are, almost exclusively refers to fictional characters that you have a big crush on, basically.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god, that's my wife. Zelda's your waifu because you have you're obsessed with Zelda.
Okay.
Gotcha. It's like a stan, right? Isn't that a thing young people say now?
From Eminem?
It's a reference to the Eminem song, yes. You're such a big fan of somebody that you're almost obsessive.
Right. Okay.
Kind of like that. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. I had a comment I want to share with you guys from Sean Coates. He said, the only one I can think of is a little indie game I found on PlayStation Store called Everything. It's a simulation game where you take control of, well, everything. You can take control of animals, cars, land masses, all the way down to germs and single-cell organisms. It's a weird game to say the least, and it also means I can say I've played everything. I follow a Twitter handle, Wario64, and whenever this game goes on sale, he goes, "Hey, everything's on sale on PlayStation Network." And everyone goes nuts for a second before they realize he's talking about a specific game called Everything.
That's good. I like that. I remember Everything. I remember it being somewhat of a big deal when it came out. But for some reason, Sean's comment here reminds me of Tokyo Jungle.
Oh, is that the one where you play as like different animals evolving?
Right. You have to start out as a Pomeranian in a post-apocalyptic Tokyo, and then you have to like eat your way up the food chain, but then you can play as other ones, and eventually, I remember you can unlock feral humans to play as, and you run around as a naked human.
Wow.
It's pretty funny.
I always remember thinking that game sounded interesting, but I never actually played it.
Yeah, I don't think they show the bits on the naked human, if that's what you're thinking.
Right.
But you could play as I think dinosaurs as well get unlocked. It's an absolutely absurd game.
Like it. It would be very difficult to talk about weird games and not talk about Suda51, which brings me to my next comment coming from Adam Zed, who said, "Killer is Dead comes to mind, but all of the Suda51 games are out there, to be honest. I enjoy weird games, so the weirder the better, in my opinion." When I think of a Suda game, the biggest one that comes to mind is oh God, why can't I think of the name of it now? Garcia Hotspur.
Shadows of the Damned.
Shadows of the Damned. That game is so weird, and somehow I could not look away from like there are doors that have baby faces on them that you have to feed strawberries to in order to unlock them. And then there are these goat heads above doors that in order to unlock the door, you have to shine a light onto them to blind the goat to allow it's just super weird stuff like that makes no sense.
Well, then you have to use your Big Johnson as a weapon.
Oh my God. The first time I did that turret sequence, I was laughing so hard I could not pass it. Should I say it here what it is? You're holding your weapon. Okay. You have a sidekick by the name of Johnson, who's this talking skull, who, by the way, one of the best voice acted side characters in a video game ever. Like just phenomenal voice casting. And he is also your weapon, your gun that you have. And at one point, Johnson turns himself into like a hand cannon, basically. And Garcia effing Hotspur holds this weapon down towards his, groin and holds up this, and then he talks about shooting his big boner over and over and over again. And it is like, I'm actually playing this video game right now. It is one of the most ridiculously insane games I've ever played, but I had so much fun playing it. It's great. So bizarre, it's so weird. Didn't he also do Killer 7? Is that the name of it? Was that Suda?
Yeah. Right?
Killer 7 was Suda, right? Yeah.
And he did No More Heroes got into as well?
That game. No More Heroes? Oh, man. Is that the black and white one? No.
That's Mad World.
Mad World, thank you. Mad World was the black and white one. No More Heroes is the one that they made a new one recently, didn't they?
They're making they did a weird Switch game, but they're making like a proper No More Heroes 3 as well.
Gotcha.
But most remembered for the fact that you saved the game by pooping.
Yeah, did not play that one. As for me, some other weird ones that I had. Do you remember Uniracers?
Yeah.
On Super Nintendo?
No.
Uniracers was a side-scrolling racer game where you controlled a unicycle. Just a unicycle, nobody riding it. Just a unicycle by itself, going through like a Sonic course. Like it actually had loops and stuff like Sonic, but it didn't have as much verticality. It was a racer. I don't even remember how it worked in terms of, because it's not like you're steering. There's no steering, but there was jumps. I remember you could jump, but it was just like, what a weird game. Who thought that up? Let's make a game where we race unicycles that don't have riders on them. Because that's just crazy to me. I don't know. What's that?
Captain Novolin.
Oh my God, Captain Novolin was
Diabetes the game.
I actually learned a lot about diabetes from playing that game. It was a game that had a quiz at the end of every level, like in order to progress.
And it's actually part of a series.
Yep.
Because there's Bronchi the Brontosaurus to teach you about asthma.
All right.
It's like, I mean, come on, we're clearly forgetting like my favorite weird game of all time, Plumbers Don't Wear Ties.
Well, we mentioned that one like every other episode.
Yeah, somehow that show gets a lot of play on this podcast or that game.
But when you're looking at older games like this, I actually do kind of agree. Like now that I think about it more, like Zach, you were like, oh yeah, the PS1 era, there was a lot of weird stuff. Yeah, actually, come to think of it, there was a lot of really weird stuff. I mean, we can go all the way back to the Atari games, the Mystique games.
Oh yeah, don't go there. We had a whole episode on those.
Yeah.
How about? I mean, how have we not mentioned Catherine at this point? You want to talk about a weird, messed up game again? You another Japanese game, right, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that you're right that a game is very strange, but like to me, the parts that stick out to me are the real life stuff.
Right, where he's like having an affair, he's cheating on his girlfriend. It gets freaked out.
That's weird. I mean, and you dream as a sheep trying to climb a tower, and then your fears are represented as the bosses, like babies and stuff. It's
funny that everybody remembers the baby. That's the one that stands out more than I can't even remember another boss. The baby
was terrifying
with my head when I first played that game. That's insane. What was the Seaman? Remember Seaman on the Dreamcast?
Oh, wow.
Voiced by Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah, rest in peace, Leonard Nimoy.
That game was creepy. That was creepy. I had another one here. We talked about Uniracers already. Oh, I'm surprised you didn't bring this one up, CB. Zombie Nation on NES?
Oh, God. Oh, that game.
Have you ever heard of Zombie Nation, Zach?
Nope. No, I have not.
It is a 2D side-scrolling shmup where you play a disembodied head that is...
Disembodied flaming samurai head.
Flaming samurai head. That is, you're attacking buildings, but you're saving the people, right?
Yeah. I don't think there's even a zombie in that whole game.
Yeah, it's just, floating head that it's like a shmup that you're shooting things, but you're also rescuing the people that are trapped in burning buildings that you are also destroying. Like, it just makes zero sense whatsoever. And it's one of the more expensive games on that platform. It's super weird. Man, I mean, look at Super Meat Boy. When you sit down and break down what Super Meat Boy is, you are a hunk of meat rescuing your girlfriend that is a hunk of pink flesh with bandages on it, and you're who's been kidnapped by a little guy in a glass jar named Dr. Fetus. I mean, just the sheer absurdity of that game, and it worked. There's so many games, if you break them down like that to what they actually are, it's very weird. But
Portal. Break that one down.
I mean, I kind of like breaking that one down, though, in the sense of, like, it reminds me of Cube. Remember the movie Cube?
Oh, I love Cube.
I do too, but like the way that whole movie wraps up is that like the entire project was put together by corporations that just like pawn off different activities and sign off on things, or things get done without anybody really knowing what they're signing off on, and they wind up creating this massive cube that traps people somehow. It just like happens. That's what I think of Portal as being. Like somebody created these test chambers and it just somehow got greenlit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't knock my Portal.
Fair enough.
I like Portal.
I love it too. but again, I love weird games.
Yeah. I mean, we could go through a whole list of weird games, but that was a fun topic. Any others you guys want to mention before we wrap up?
No, I think we generally touched
family
on
friendly.
Yeah. I think we, outside of every game that was ever published on Newgrounds, I think we just about touched on
Newgrounds, remind me.
The Flash game website. Maybe you guys are too old for Newgrounds.
Probably. I don't know what Newgrounds is.
No, it was a huge website.
I got one more.
Okay.
Frog Fractions.
There you go. Math is weird.
Yeah. And it's free, everybody. You can go play Frog Fractions right now on Steam for free.
Oh, you should probably play it with your kid, though, because you guys can learn some fractions together. It's really good stuff.
Oh, my God.
The difficulty ramps up pretty early, though, so make sure you get a calculator handy.
That's smart. Yeah. Maybe get the app going on your phone, probably.
Yeah, the companion app.
Yeah, called the calculator.
I know, but seriously, play Frog Fractions. That game is great. Ask CB.
Yeah, it's a real blast.
Oh man, that first discovery, the first time you discover what's actually going on in that game. Oh, it's so great. So good. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode of The Gaming Outsider. Zach, got any parting words or anything you'd like to share before we get out of here?
No, man. I mean, honestly, I feel like I just keep doing the same stuff these past few weeks. Playing a lot of Knights of the Old Republic, reading my Star Wars books. You know what? Hey, guys, if you can find the Young Jedi Knights books, you should read them. They're so fun. They're small little 200-pagers where they follow the teenage adventures of Han and Leia's twins, Jason and Jaina, and they're a lot of fun.
Believe it or not, on your recommendation, my older son started reading them.
Wow, they're great, man. Yeah, I'm a big fan of them.
Nice.
So, I owned most of them already, so
I'm always happy to help push the Legends love.
That's what it should be.
Very cool,
man.
Zach, thanks for being here, man. As always, it's a pleasure to chat with you about games. CB, what about you? Anything you'd like to share?
Man, I really don't got nothing super new going on. Just playing with some Legos. So, rediscovered my love for Legos.
Legos is that's an expensive hobby as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. So, so this is actually kind of funny. I know a couple weeks ago we talked about pops. My wife bought a pop.
Really?
Which of?
She bought Daenerys on the Iron Throne.
I like that.
And
nice.
It's sitting on her nightstand. Like, took it out of the box and she's like, I like this.
That's cool.
I was really surprised.
Hot Topic released an exclusive Green Lantern Funko Pop of Black Hand, the Black Lantern, and I cannot believe I live in a world where a Black Hand Funko Pop exists.
I know. I wanted to get one.
I paid Hot Topic's ridiculous shipping fee, and I just look at it every day, and I just give it a little pat. It's just so great. I love it. It's the best.
I actually have a music recommendation, and I have to give kudos to Aaron for turning me on to this song. The song is called "What a Life," and the artist is Scarlet Pleasure. And I am shocked that I love this song as much as I do because it's not my normal type of music. It sounds like Yiddish R&B is the best way I could describe it. But it is just a song about, like, don't care what anybody says. I'm gonna enjoy life. It has become my summer jam. I am in love with this song. It just grooves. It's really good. It's actually on the soundtrack for a Swedish movie called Another Round, which I watched this weekend as well, and it was good. But it's a little long in the tooth for it. But it stars Mads Mikkelsen. And
I like him.
If you don't mind subtitles, and it's basically these teachers decide they're going to run an experiment to keep a constant alcohol level in their bloodstream while they work and see how it affects their productivity. And it winds up with a pretty just fun scene that features this song. But I swear I've listened to that song about 30 or 35 times since I discovered it last week. I create a playlist every summer of like summer jams, and this is my number one track on that. So, What a Life by Scarlet Pleasure. I highly, highly recommend it. However, it's explicit lyrics, so beware. But hope you check it out. Anyway, thanks everybody for listening to The Gaming Outsider. I want to remind you that the podcast is produced by Nate Lucas, and all the music you hear is written and performed by Grant Henry of Stemmage and Metroid Metal. Please be sure to check out his website, stemmagemusic.com. Also, be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Our address is feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. Until next week, I'm Scott Clark with Zack Parkerson and Chris Behrensmeyer, and we are The Gaming Outsider. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.